Hello and welcome to the jury roundtable for 1984 Hall of Fame. I have some of the jurors here, some of them may hop on later, some may have to go early, but we have the jury here. And they are here to discuss the merits of Caleb, Sam, and Tyler, who are in the final three of the game, one of which will become the winner. So, jury, we will start off talking about specific people, but obviously it's going to turn into talking about each other. So just because his name starts at the closest to the front of the alphabet, we will start with Caleb. So does anybody want to talk about Caleb's game?
Congratulations, you lost the game.
What game?
Yeah,
yeah,
the only game I can see from him is the one where he cheated. So, I
Ah!
don't care.
Okay, I guess
I'm gonna bring it up as long as I live. So,
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's played like the worst game ever. Like,
oh no, he hasn't. That's
to
me.
give him some positives, he's been nice to everybody. He hasn't really gotten too much blood on his hands. He's made it there despite being quick. Now, do I think he pretty much had like no control throughout the game and kind of got to the end because Tyler and Sam decided that he was the one that they wanted to carry along? Yes. Although he did win a bunch of comps at the end, and that is impressive. He has the most comp wins ever. Definitely noteworthy, but I think the other two played a lot better than him. That's just where I'm at.
I want to add on to that. The starting of his game was impressive, as like people were talking about the power of three a lot, like especially in like the first, I would say like 4 or 5 rounds, and he did a good job of kind of diminishing that, whereas the other members were more outright about it, like wearing their hoodies to the evictions or like talking about it. He did a really good job at trying to like get that target off of him, to the point where he did vote out Drew because he didn't want to be associated with that. So he did a good job of navigating his target size. But I do have to agree that as time went on, it doesn't seem like Caleb had direct influence over a section of the game. Like I can't pinpoint like a move that I can say, oh, this was Caleb's move, other than evicting Bria and Jack week 5.
Which honestly was half of that was Nick.
Yeah, that I'm gonna be honest. A lot of that was Nick, which was funny enough to see them get blindsided the week after. But it was mainly Nick's doing, and by their doing, I mean proving all of my lies horribly wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have not paid attention to this game because it burned me the fuck out. I was just like, yep, cool, not my tea. But other than like me wanting to get Caleb out this entire time and then calling shit that wasn't true, fucking hell, this road is horrible. Like, I don't know what Caleb's done that I can't be like, just that was how the game went and he just followed along with it. So he did not play as well as he did in season 4 at all.
So here I'll put my little 2 cents in about it.
Let's hear positive stuff.
In terms of, season 4, this is by any means season 4 power 3 Caleb. However, I think that we should also take into account that all 3 of these players have all had different stories and all have had different, I guess, ways of playing the game. I think Caleb's was a lot more on the bottom and not knowing things, but just finding ways to survive each round. Damn, Jack is getting pulled over. Anyways.
No, that's like 3 ambulances for the kids I hit.
Oh,
Jeez.
But no, I think for Caleb's sake, we have to take into account that Caleb came into the season part of one of the best 1984 alliances ever. He had to diminish his threat level, whether that was, voting out Drew, losing his connection with Megan, no longer being with Nick. All he really had in the game was kind of me, Sam, and then his relationships with other people like Tyler and such. And I think Caleb was just trying to skate by. And he's done a good job winning comps when he needed to, as proven that he might win the last 4 that he's competed in. So I think it really depends. I don't think Caleb has been the mastermind. I don't think Caleb has dictated who went home every round, but you don't need to do that to win a game, I don't think. So
Just gonna say this. I already said we're gonna say this right now. Jack just got pulled over.
No
really?
fucking shot, Jack.
not me.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry, Jack.
I just see the camera mute, camera turn on.
I'm just don't.
Okay, so that's a 1984 first.
So can I go
Someone
on,
got
like,
pulled over on camera. I can't.
Keaton, you're also in your
less-
car. Be careful.
Can I speak on Caleb too? Because I haven't gotten to talk about
Yeah, go for it.
Mr. Reed. I'll say, objectively speaking, I think that Caleb probably has had one of the best Cinderella stories in 1984 history, from 14th place to Final 3 twice. Caleb has won 13 competitions. He's broken the record for the most competitions in 1984 history. The majority of times Caleb was on the block, he fucking won that veto and saved himself. And when he felt the need to send his biggest threat home, he won the HOH and the veto to secure that I went home. I think that Caleb, objectively speaking, isn't as bad on pen and paper as it may seem. He wasn't, I guess, as dominantly social as the other 2 people around, but realistically speaking, Caleb probably came in here as one of the biggest winner threats of 1984 history. And if he started playing how people perceived that he could or would play from the beginning, he wouldn't be there. And I know that because I was pretty much the same way. If I came in playing how people perceived me to have been playing in season 2, I wouldn't be there. When he needed to shut the hell up and let the rest of season 2, I guess, do the dirty work, he did that. He didn't win a damn HOH to benefit season 2 in like 8 or 9 weeks, but he still managed to be there because we felt like we needed him at that point. So I think that there is a lot of merit to Caleb's game, whether it's perceived that way or not. That's up to us as a jury to decide, but I do think that it's there.
I won't deny that he did have a game. Like,
Yeah.
We're not saying that he didn't play. The issue is that the other 2, I think, have more pronounced games as a whole, because they had an influence they had influence, 1, which is something that Caleb failed to have for the most of this game, and 2, they had influence for a long period of time throughout this game. They were always in the know. They always put themselves into positions to have more knowledge than other people would have been able to. Like, the other 2 are much more desirable people to vote for because of that. So
no, I mean, I agree. I was just giving like some highlights of his game.
I think especially on an all-star season though too. Like I want.
Mm-hmm.
like, and
But yes,
granted,
yeah. But no shame.
Caleb-
Caleb has played a good game. He hasn't played a bad game. He's there. We're
Mhm.
not. It's a tough season.
I think another thing about Caleb is he's very good at dealing with information. Like, even if he doesn't get that much information, he's very tight-lipped about it. He knows who to tell stuff to. He's very smart with his words. And but I also, like, someone else pointed out that I think Rizzo said that you don't need control to win the game necessarily, like a move that you necessarily made happen. And I agree with that, but I think you need to have some sort of social capital or positioning throughout that was consistent. Whereas to me, it felt like sometimes Caleb really skated by in terms of whether he was going to be the renom or he survived by 1 vote, or like, it seemed to me he was on the edge of leaving multiple times, which some might find impressive as like an underdog type of thing. But my thing is, like, he put himself in that position to where he needed to be an underdog, whereas other people made stronger connections to the point where they weren't in that position. So me personally, I think it's really cool, his story arc, but I don't think it's necessarily a big positive that he did have to fight so much, because I think that was more of a flaw in his social game.
and one thing I do want to comment on with Caleb was something that Jabbar said. Yeah, he did have to try and play a different style than he did the first time. But the deeper you get into the game, the harder you have to play. I don't think he ever like ramped it up. He never went like he never another gear. He stayed at the same level, it looked like, for the most of the time. And that's really hard to look at and say that's a deserving game. So that's another qualm that I have with him.
I think that's kind of subjective depending on what you view as.
I agree.
Because towards the end game, Caleb has literally won everything possible. Not every single one, but you know what I mean? Like, you have to look at it as, in Caleb's mind, that his thinking of his best shot at winning, I guess, was against Sam and Tyler. Because if I was in Caleb's spot, I would have played it differently. I would have worked with Jabbar to take one of them out and then possibly take out Jabbar. But at the same time, you got to realize that Caleb has to play to get to the end. So, I mean, in terms of like cutting people and stuff, I don't think Caleb's done that. But in terms of ramping it up, I don't think it's not like he's like, whatever. Like, I just got lucky to be here. I think he has done the things to get him here, but I don't think they've been as big or flashy as a Sam or Tyler per se.
Not to mention, like, strategically speaking, everybody in season 2 knew that season 2 was going to implode at one point or another. It became a point where Caleb wasn't winning the HOHs. Me, Tyler, and Burks were back to back, banging them out. And Caleb being a physical threat as much as he was, I think that strategically speaking, it was brilliant for him not to put himself in the midst of winning an HOH, whether he threw it or not. I think that it benefited his game that he wasn't winning, and the rest of us like started to turn on each other. The whispers started to happen. So I don't necessarily think that he necessarily did not change gears, but if he did change gears, it was to a point where a lot of us in the jury don't know what the hell was going on, because he was very tight-lipped with the information that he would give to most of us in here.
I do agree that it was good not to win. Sorry, continue.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, just on your point that I do agree that it was good for him to not win those, but I don't know how much of that was intentional. Because I'm looking back on it, and I know that one of the HOHs came down to a tiebreaker, and he just happened to lose. I'm not sure how much of it was intentional. I think like maybe in mid-jury-ish, he was trying to win, but he couldn't. But I do agree that that ended up working out for him because he didn't have as much baggage or as much blood on his hands, whereas he could survive in later rounds because of that.
Yeah.
So how much influence will, because Caleb and Sam are the two that are competing for the final HOH, as you guys know, how much influence will it have if he chooses to take Sam, or if he chooses to take Tyler, or if he is the one brought?
I don't think it should. Personally, I don't think that that decision should not really have that much influence. I feel like, they're all worthy freaking competitors, and people know that a decision at the final 3 is really going to change how who people are necessarily counting out and who people are deciding between. That's
especially with this jury.
Yeah. I will say though that as the days have gone by, like I've kind of gotten over my Sam thing, but I will say that in my opinion, if Sam wins and cuts Tyler, I do think Sam should be the front runner, just because Sam in this entire game has been a conniving Nicole Franzel, back and forth, just talking to everybody, promising them the world, and then cutting them. And if Sam goes to the end with Tyler and preaches loyalty, at that point, I think Sam should not even get a single vote. So if Sam cuts Tyler and preaches that he was a snake, then I think he should win.
So why shouldn't he win anyway? We can wait till we get to Sam on that.
But in terms of the final 3 sort of question, I think for Caleb, it doesn't matter. For the other 2, the only way their decision will matter is I'll think they're dumb if they don't take Caleb, and that might knock their chances in my eyes a little bit. That's kind of where I'm at.
Does Caleb being a winner against Tyler a non-winner have any effect?
No.
No.
Game.
49 in fact would be stupid.
But it doesn't have I think it's impressive that he was able to make it there as a winner, but it doesn't have influence over my vote.
Caleb
like, cool, you're a winner, but this is a different game.
Caleb didn't provide me much material.
And
Is there
just
I
in
mean,
general, like as a
I
person, because I
mean-
agree to that.
I
is
mean,
there a
Caleb
specific
didn't.
point in the game that we can point out about Caleb's game that we're like, oh, that was really good?
I mean, Caleb won comps. Okay,
Won
that's
comps.
cool, but like, what else? I don't think winning comps should make you win 1984.
I do
I
agree
mean-
with that. It's not the challenge.
I mean, it's part of
I'm not
that.
saying Caleb played
Winning comps is winning power, so
And
Okay,
it
I,
has
you
some
know,
amount of
power.
influence.
And
I
I
agree
do
with
think it
Keaton
matters what
in
you
a
do
sense.
with the comps, though. Like what you do, how you use the power is more important than like actually winning.
That's what it is. He won the comps, but what did he do when he was in that position? Yes, he took out one person, I believe. He made one move, correct? Am I done?
He technically, I guess, took out 3.
He took out Bria, Jack, and Jabbar.
let's
Okay,
be
let's
real
not-
here. Let's be real here. His first HOH reign with Luke was very abysmal.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was a mess. That was a mess and a
that was
half
a
for
whole
everyone
mess.
involved.
But you know
Because-
what?
I remember
I-
I trusted Caleb because we were friends before this until that HOH, and then he pawned me, and I feel like he lost trust with so many people, and I
He
don't know if
did.
he ever fully recovered from that HOH, to be honest.
And
I
Caleb
don't
was
think
not
so
one.
either.
And Caleb really wasn't that loyal to his friends either. Like he cut Drew. He basically cut Megan, and he also cut Nick.
Thank fuck.
I think he lost a lot of control there because people started distrusting him, and then after that, you look at who left. Like, Megan left. Like Nick left, Luke left, X left. Like all of his allies left after that, and I don't think, like Bryce said, I don't think he ever fully recovered because he was in a much better like position socially before that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do agree, but it should talk about how well he's adapted because I don't want to say he's flip-flopped because I don't think he has, but once Nick or Megan or Drew left, he was with me and Sam, and then once I left, he was able to go with Sam and Tyler. You know what I mean? So I think he's able to, I guess, position himself to where he isn't the first, like the target, right? Like when he was in the game, people were targeting Burks, then somehow Bryce was the target, then for some reason Lee was the target, and then obviously when you have 4 big players at the end, it's easier to hide and not be a target.
I mean, what it sounds like is Caleb is an easy drag for Sam for Sam to the end. It's an easy drag if Sam wants to have a good shot at winning, and if Caleb wins, basically whoever he drags is more than likely going to win the game.
My gut is telling me Caleb and Tyler were like a final 2 since the start.
I
I
mean,
would
Burks
not be
was the
surprised.
Caleb.
Well,
Him and Caleb, I think, probably have the most personal, like out of everyone. He was probably like their personal bond like extends outside of the game. Like they've known each other for a long time. But I don't think like I do remember like Caleb was willing to cut Tyler at some point, and I think he might even cut Tyler now, because Caleb I think is more cutthroat than people give him credit for.
yeah.
But he did have a connection with Tyler, and that definitely helped his game.
Okay, sure, but what's player perception? Who does he think he can? Who does Caleb think he can beat someone? And if so, does he think he can beat Tyler, or does he think he can beat Sam?
Well, when I called with Tyler, like before my eviction, it made from what I got from that call, it made it seem like him and Caleb were a final 2. Like they were gonna get rid of Sam.
Caleb basically told me that when I was pleading for my life, that the difference between me and Tyler was that he felt like I was a lot more likable than Tyler, and that Tyler had just Tyler's attitude was a little bit nastier than mine. Like Sam really wasn't mentioned, so I don't know if he was debating giving Sam 3rd from that conversation, like if Sam wasn't even in the equation and like he was stuck between Tyler and myself, or if he knew that he wanted to sit with Sam the entire time and like give Tyler 3rd. So I'm not too sure.
They're all telling each other. I think they're all probably telling each other that they're taking.
Yeah,
I
it's a
wouldn't
triangle.
imagine any of them. I wouldn't imagine any of them were like, "Oh yeah, I'm evicting you if I win." Like I'm sure all 3 of them told each other that they're taking each other.
Oh, that's
And then
absolutely happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
Sam's
this-
definitely doing it.
This is a game that you could only really win by kind of being a snake. So,
Sam.
I mean,
Okay.
if you don't tell everyone you're going to take them to the end, I think that's kind of disrespecting how the game goes at this point, unless you like lock the final two down on day one. Like,
Sorry, I don't know about y'all. I don't know how y'all are feeling. If anyone else has more stuff to talk about, Caleb, but
Okay. At this
Those are the
point-
interesting ones.
At this point, let's move on to Sam.
Okay, before anyone else says anything, I'm saying this right now. If Caleb and Sam end up being in the final two, I seriously am just going to show up, spin a wheel, and call it a day. I'm not actually going to make my decision at that point. I will discuss here my merits, but at the end of the day, I will be randomizing my vote.
Okay.
I mean, how it's going to be for me is, okay, one of them has scorned me very, very badly in the past. The other hasn't. I mean, my vote is basically locked unless Sam literally kills a child on camera. Like, I don't know what Sam can do in a Caleb versus Sam final two in order for me to vote for Caleb.
yeah.
And
But-
even if he kills a child, I'd
What if
probably
he's
still
against?
vote for
What
him.
if he's against Tyler?
Right.
There, I probably have to listen to it. The thing is, for me, like, do I if there's another double, if there's gonna be a double winner crowned, like, congratulations, you fucking idiots.
Mhm.
But like, if there isn't a double winner being crowned, then well, I mean, there's only one pathway to go. So I'm Sam and Tyler conflicted. Caleb versus basically, I don't think Caleb is going to get my vote in any context. That's basically where my head's at.
But
But
are we talking about Sam or Caleb now?
I know, I know.
As an individual.
Okay, so of the final three, Sam has the least morals.
We knew. We then knew.
Retweet.
And
So we played with them twice. Like,
Yeah,
we
but
both
that's
know
the-
that this.
He burned me the first time, and I voted him to win out of respect for the game, but I don't know if I would vote for him again.
I mean, you look at Sam's season one game, it's not like he was a comp beast or anything. It's clear as day, like, he was a social player. He had final twos all over the house, like, and
Mhm.
people allowed him to do that again.
Mhm.
I don't, like,
The thing
That's
is,
on y'all.
Literally, like the entire cast.
relationship, that
Yeah,
might
sorry.
be a flaw, but we let him do it again. Like, that's
Yeah.
not entirely to blame, like, on him. But, like,
I agree.
obviously people have issues with how he necessarily, like, treated people on their way out, and I agree that that's a flaw. But in terms of his gameplay, like, we let him do that again.
So, in my opinion, I actually admire Sam's game because I thought that I kind of did that last season.
Yes.
However, my thing with Sam is that he, like, I don't know, when I look back at it, like Sam, like with Nick Benner, for instance, would roll his eyes. When Jabbar won veto at Final Five, he like laughed. He was like, "Ha!" Like he was like, I don't know. It just, he comes off as fake and way too arrogant. Like, if Sam comes in, I think, I mean, I'm more leaning, like, as the days go on, towards voting for Sam, but Sam really needs to do some convincing. I just think Sam is just fake as fuck. Like, I don't know, that's just genuinely, I don't know. Like, he would talk, like I said in the jury chat, he would talk to me for like 3 hours every day and was going to backdoor me. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
He was
That's-
not only going to
yeah.
backdoor you, he was going to pretend he was backdooring me to get you excited and then backdoor you.
Like,
Yeah.
He was gonna torment your goddamn emotions.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
did
I was
that
gonna
with me
ask.
too.
On a strategic level, do we think all of Sam's betrayals, like everyone who he betrayed, was that smart for him? Like, was his timing right? Like, I respect being cutthroat,
I mean,
but did he make the right moves?
I mean, he's there, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Honestly,
some of them flipping on me. I guess I was going to get rid of him soon. So
I think it's a balance. Like with the Rizzo thing, I think he did that way too early. But then
I-
there's some
yeah.
moves where I'm like, that made sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I respect a cutthroat player, but did he make all of his moves at the right time, and did they make sense for his game at the time, or was he just being cutthroat for the sake
I
of
think
it?
he needs to own that he's cutthroat.
I think most of the moves that he made benefited Tyler more than it benefited him.
I actually kind of agree with Lee. I think as like Burks came in and everyone came in, I feel like Sam got info and went to Tyler about it. Like he did Tyler's work. You know what I mean? I feel like Tyler didn't have to do as much as Sam, but Sam told everything to Tyler.
I think they both got all the information. Like they both
Yeah.
got information from everybody, and I don't think either of them is the other person's sheep, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely think.
Go ahead, Burks.
No.
Go
So
ahead.
I'm already talking too much. No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna flat out say I think that Sam is probably the best player of 1984, and over the course of 2 seasons, he flat out is the best. The shit that he was able to pull off this season, he amped it up. He gained more personal favor with people just to fucking stab them in the back unrelentlessly. He royally fucked people over. He was still able to make it to the end. He was only nominated by one person the entire season, despite being ranked 1 on the power rankings.
He has no votes cast against him. He has 0
His
votes
rank
against
1
him.
is bullshit. I'll say that. His rank 1 is complete bullshit. I'll say that much. And that's not to try and diss his game. It's just it's been skewed since it was season 1. I've said that forever, and I'll continue to say it. I was ranked 4 for fucking 4 seasons. I shouldn't have been there. That's a slight skew. He is a good player. I'm not going to take that away. But constantly bringing that up to me means nothing because it's not remembering what the game was, and especially living through season 1. No.
But
His
then
game was
when-
good, but it's not like number 1 of the entire series good.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, no,
Cam
there were
was
a lot
supposed to
better
get a
players.
I think combined though, his season 1 game and his season 6 game, if you combine everyone's game, I would put him as the number 1 player. That being said,
I
I don't
agree.
think that doesn't mean he's the best player. Like he played the best game this season,
I
but
agree.
overall,
I mean,
like,
I probably
think-
put him at 2 behind Heather Lee Cameron, but yes.
Okay,
If you-
that's it.
if you took Caleb's games, you took Tyler's games, and you took Sam's games, and you had to like average it out, I would put Sam at number 1. But if I'm looking at this season, who played the best game, that doesn't mean I would vote for Sam.
See, but my thing is that sure, Sam did the same thing that he did season 1, but to me, that's kind of like he played this kind of the similar game, and it worked for him. Whereas I think Tyler switched up his game. I think Caleb switched up his game. To me, I know we're voting based on this game, but in terms of, I guess, legacy throughout 1984, we've seen a bigger, diverse playing field from both Caleb and Tyler. I think they both can show that they can play 2 different sides of the game, whereas Sam played a similar game. Obviously, it worked
I don't
out.
think it really was that similar
I-
because Sam didn't win competitions in season 1. This time he did, and he did have power.
Well,
He won
Yeah,
the
but,
same amount
like-
of comps though. He
He
won
won-
2 in season 1 and 3 now.
yeah.
Like I was going to bring up that what Rizzo said. Like, yeah, the other 2 show that they can diversify their play style. Meanwhile, Sam went down the same path again. Granted, it did work for him, but is that all he knows?
It doesn't matter. If it got him to win and he was able to do the same thing again with a chance to get to the final 2 again, I think that that's something to be noted. Quite frankly, I think that it's impressive to be able to play the same game twice and get away with it.
Yeah, if
Like I
you're
said,
if you're able to play the same snaky game, and people
What?
call you on it, and you survive to the end, I think that's extremely impressive.
I agree. The only other thing is though, did he do it better in season 1 because the jury left feeling way better about him than they did now?
Well, they had me to hate in season 1, so yeah,
Well,
they don't have a me to hate. They have a him to hate now.
I don't even like going back to season 1. I don't really see Sam being that much of a snake. It was a very divided house in that season.
Dude, he was a fucking snake. Don't even start it. He was a
When?
snaky snake at all
From what I
points.
gathered- from what I gathered, he had like 4 different final 2s, and to me,
He had
that's-
4 in final
okay,
2s, and
I
everyone
had-
approached him alliances. Are you kidding me? That man was connected the entire time. He played the same game again.
I don't know.
For someone who doesn't play like any orgs, and going in, because I can say a lot of us still played orgs. Sam's literally only 2 orgs was this game and season 1.
I don't think
He's
it will
got
matter though. I think it's like he had like a lot of friends outside in this
I
cast.
agree. I agree.
So did Tyler.
I don't think
Right.
he's as disconnected as he said he was.
Yeah,
I agree.
The man was not disconnected.
Just
I
because
agree.
you play one org does not mean you don't talk to those people
every
in the
day.
future. Exactly.
He's
He has
known.
lots of friends on 10 gauge, and most
Yeah.
of them were on this cast.
One thing, Sam is a very composed player. Like, I don't think any of us ever witnessed him freaking out on a game level where it was like
Except
he was
for when
completely
he was
paranoid.
up,
Just
When he got numb.
he melted
Well,
down. But
yeah, but I feel like he was very good with, not similarly to Caleb, like with information, he knew who to tell things to, but also like he kept a level head, I feel like, for most of the game.
Yeah.
And he never got paranoid to the point where it completely destroyed his game. Like even that week that he had a meltdown, he stayed 6-0. You know?
yes,
I should have
agree.
evicted him.
yes, I agree. We all should have affected him.
We should have flipped it. We should have flipped it.
Oh, Sam is so good. I
He
cannot
was-
say enough good
He was
positive.
good that he was the way that he kind of won our hearts back to that way. He was good.
Like sitting on the jury, and then I saw Jabbar put up Sam. I was like, me, Keaton, and X. Like even though we didn't talk in the jury that much before, whoever came in, Benner came in. Like I
Me and
thought,
Jabbar were dancing in the storage room when that happened.
I thought Sam was out of there, and for him to say 6-0 is kind of ridiculous. So
That's insane.
I give him props.
Bryce, I want to ask you a question. Had he was a final nominee at Final 6, would you have actually evicted him? Like,
At
be
Final
honest.
At final 6 or against Benner?
No, at Final 6.
Against who?
Like if the nom stayed the same.
Would you have evicted
Caleb.
Sam?
Oh, yes, I would have evicted him. Yes,
Okay, good.
yes, I wanted Sam out. Sorry, I've just blocked that week out of my head entirely.
That veto was so nasty. But
Oh my
anyways, anything
God,
else?
the one fucking person, and of course he decided.
Oh,
his
Bryce,
best
don't
friend
even
was
get me
Sam.
started. I threw that last
that.
fucking question. I should have thrown it.
Nasty veto one.
Okay. Are we ready to move on, or?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's
Start
do
with
it.
this.
Lose it. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. So now we will move on to Tyler. After Tyler, we can go back and talk about whoever
Okay.
or.
Can I go
whatever.
first?
That's fine.
Okay, no one can deny that Tyler played a phenomenal game. He did. However, his path to Final 3 really just confuses me
Mhm.
because he had the opportunity to save Bryce at Final 6 and save me at Final 5. And he probably would be in Final 3 right now. I don't know why he just took the risky path of taking two like big threats to the end. Well,
I think
not
Final
threats, but like
points!
winners.
Jabbar was
He
too much
had
of a
other
variable for him, I think Jabbar was too much of a wild card because he knew that Jabbar thought he was the biggest jury threat, like not comp threat, but like he didn't know if Jabbar was going to win comps or not. And he knew that Jabbar would pick you guys over him.
Right, but
So I
people.
feel
But,
So
like a lot of people were targeting Jabbar at that point. Like no offense, Jabbar. If Tyler didn't fuck me over, I probably would have targeted Jabbar. You know.
I think I agree with Lee. Like as the days went on as well, I was like, yeah, Tyler got this in the bag. And then I'm looking at it and I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? But I think so. The way I look at it is Bryce, obviously he chose Sam's friendship and loyalty in the game over you.
And Caleb's.
Right. And I just think in theory, like you can argue that that would have guaranteed him Final 3. But honestly, if he took you and Lee, I think he's still there as well.
Exactly.
And now that he didn't even win part 1 or part 2, I think it makes him look really bad.
Yeah,
It does unless he gets taken. If he gets taken, then props to him because he did think that Caleb would take him.
Right.
I remember. So
I think Caleb cuts him, Sam takes him, but I think that's unpopular.
Like
It's hard to
final,
guess.
like out of the Final 3, like I think Tyler had the best like season arc. From his season, he was constantly targeted.
oh yeah.
And this season, he was the last one unnominated.
And Tyler was last nominated, and he had control and influence from start to finish, whether it was campaigning for the Cindy week, he just the whole pre-jury, he always knew everyone's business, he always knew everything that was going on. And honestly, until the triple eviction and maybe Cindy's HOH, I would say too. He was not in trouble. Definitely though, not a clean player. Definitely like he loved to throw his allies under the bus and just get them all to turn against each other. He loved to leak people's juiciest shit and then act like nothing ever happened. It was super fun for him. So like just like Sam, he was extremely dirty, but I remember after the triple, he also came back from a terrible, terrible spot. I don't know, there's something about it with Tyler that you kind of, it feels a little more business, and he was willing to own up to his shit a little bit more, if that makes sense.
The business part, I definitely agree. I don't know why, like just the vibe of him as a player, it feels very authentic, like very aggressive, but not in a way that'll like completely turn you off from working with him.
He's a force, dude.
I think what all the players have to do, especially like in order to just have any sort of jury vote, is acknowledge the fact that they played dirty, because I think every single person to some degree played dirty. So if you say, no, I was loyal the whole way, we are going to read them to filth because they do not get to say they were loyal after the game all three of them played.
Yeah, I really think Tyler put a really good game up until final 6. That point, like when he made those questionable moves, that is just what's really turning me off from voting for
Yeah,
him.
I feel like those moves are still pending to see if they work out for him or not. Because if he makes it to the end, it's not like he made the wrong plays. Like he's still sitting there.
He's currently lost part 1 and 2, so we're gonna find out.
I also think him randomly putting up Lee was weird. Side
note.
Oh
yeah, that too.
That was like really weird to me. There were actually a few times where he like came and he was like, honestly, I just decided on a whim. I had no idea what I was gonna do. Like with the Lee. But
he's done a lot of questionable things that I really don't understand.
I think the Lee renom was smart for him because Lee wasn't closely affiliated with anyone as like a number 1 or like in a trio necessarily. At that point, he had connections overall. I think maybe he didn't even need to win that HOH, but like, I think it was the best move for his game.
Mm-hmm. Who did he even take out that week?
The first HOH or the second?
When he put up Lee.
I think that was the X eviction.
The X. No, the Jack.
Oh no! Oh yeah, it was the Jack.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Yeah.
The Jack one.
I'm pretty sure
that was me.
Jack, I still want to know what the fuck happened that week.
Well, I'm so mad about that week.
What happened is, from what I heard, everyone blamed each other for not wanting to keep me, so no one kept me. Like literally, that's how it went down.
No,
and
I was like,
if I'm being honest, I actually don't think Jack really started season 2 rumors. I actually think Sam.
Oh no, I absolutely did. I'm not even gonna lie, I did.
When I would never mind. Go ahead.
Putting it simply, I was a complete mess. The game I played was dog shit, and I laugh at it now because it was literally, I think, the worst couple of moves I could have had. I accidentally I threw the HOH I came back in, which I knew I could have won. Like, was like guaranteed to come back in. I didn't care, and you could tell immediately. Then I made an aligned chat with all of season 1, which was stupid. Then I spread those rumors and then denied those rumors.
Yeah, you said, "Oh, I did it, bitch."
See, those rumors benefited those people. I feel like
I still don't know where Lee came into this.
Tyler told me that you said I was the one that made it.
I legitimately don't think I talked to Tyler. And that's where I'm confused. I'm like, wait, why? I still don't know where Lee came up.
Oh, Tyler,
it was just trying to get you three to blame each other, Keaton, Jack, and Lee. It was just trying to get you guys to throw each other under the bus. Because Sam had already told people that the season 1 alliance was a thing. So he was just trying to get you guys to throw each other under the bus for spreading the season 2 thing.
And this is why we don't make alliance chats, ladies and gentlemen.
And Jack, you were the one that said you wanted the backdoor Jabbar along with Keaton. And I agree. I agreed to it.
I didn't say I was gonna backdoor. I was gonna front door the motherfucker.
Oh, I was gonna backdoor him, and I had to backpedal once Jabbar was like, "Hey, did you say this?" I was like, "No, I never said that." Of course, I did.
See, Jabbar, he's a lying bitch.
And look where it got us. Jabbar being a massive threat at the end game.
That's always gonna be the case.
I
It's
mean,
Jabbar.
I was gonna
But
vote for Jabbar.
why are we
to
talking?
win
Why are
it.
we talking about each other though? That's my question. That's
Because
I
the
wrong.
others,
because-
I mean, the three are irrelevant to me at this point.
Like I honestly,
I
I
mean-
don't care. I know I played a bad game, and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for
I
the
love
final
you,
two
Jack.
so I can just. Oh, I love you too, Jabbar. But like, I think everything is like, yeah, no, we don't care, and we haven't really been caring.
Jack, were you gonna go to final two with me?
Oh, the
I
fuck
actually
he wasn't.
might have.
Yeah,
I
that was my
honestly
plan. That
don't
was my plan
know.
when you came back, but
No,
John's so mad.
If I had gone past that week, I probably would have went after season 2, and then I have no idea what I was gonna do. I was probably gonna like see what happened during those weeks and go from there. So literally my entire game plan hinged on me surviving that eviction and then walking into the next HOH and winning. What HOH was that, by the way? Right
one?
after I got evicted.
Which eviction?
The second one.
Jack's second eviction. Pencil?
It was the
No.
one the random video one. He posted 4 videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I literally had like a page of notes on all of the videos. Like
Thank
if
you
you
for
guys
giving me those.
know,
I did not have that.
yeah, you're fucking welcome for that.
Because
No,
I
that
I
competition
only
was
got through that
nasty.
because of your notes.
Like, first off, Michael, fuck you. That video was annoying.
No, that
but-
competition was nasty. No, one of the videos had 1 extra second on it because I looked at the thumbnail, I didn't click on it, so I was 1 second over in that fucking tiebreaker.
And
See,
literally,
that's the issue. You looked at the video, you looked at the thumbnail, didn't actually look at the video, and
If
that's the
there's
problem.
one thing I learned, it's that Michael Davis, you need to change up these competitions because the fact that we all guessed all your
Literally.
tiebreakers is kind of bad.
You guys didn't actually guess a lot of the competitions. A lot of them, you guys
Yeah.
were wrong and thought you were right,
I'm just
and we ended up doing it
We
at a
said
different point or
tiebreakers,
whatever.
Michael.
yeah, we did
tiebreaker.
Can we do
Oh,
it like
tiebreakers, yeah.
I literally
mean-
think I lost like 6 tiebreaker questions this season or something.
I'm
stupid.
trolling Michael. I love it.
well, Michael, when I
An
return
easy
from
way to do it in the future is like if everyone is doing it, just be like, make the tiebreaker and then push it 1 comp forward. Like, it sounds kind of dicky, but like, oh yeah, the next time you need a tiebreaker, just use what were the video times from the last competition.
I don't understand what he's saying. Someone hurt me.
anyways, Michael, when it's time for 1984 Legends, we better do a liar's dice competition.
Where was the liar's dice?
That fucking
If you
liars
can do
dice.
Quiplash, if you can do Quiplash, you can do Liar's Dice. Come
Okay,
on.
also
Like-
another
And we're gonna talk about Quiplash because
another
of all of the comps that you could use, you used the one comp that was social based. You could have used Trivia Murder Party, which actually like was competitive.
Well, that wasn't on the Jackbox that I
Oh
had.
my god.
Okay,
Buy another
so
fucking
that sounds like
Jackbox.
a you problem.
okay, before we can talk about all this stuff at the reunion, though. Do you guys have any other comments on any of the final 3? Is there specific combinations of a final 2 that would make you lean one way over another? Like, is there anything else you guys want to say?
Last
Just
thing
like the
I
9
wanted to
jurors,
add
I hate the final 3.
Last
If
thing
I wanted to add
anything
something.
with
um
anything with Caleb immediately loses my vote unless the other person kills someone on camera. Like there isn't much anyone can do versus Caleb to not have my vote.
Oh, Caleb has my vote against Sam.
Me too. I mean, Caleb has my vote regardless, but Caleb against Sam.
Simp.
I kind of said this to I think Jabbar, maybe me and Jabbar were 101. Like this was a week ago. I said I would never vote for Sam even if he cured COVID, but I'm kind of being less bitter.
Oh my god!
What?
That's what's
I-
happened.
Round table.
I'm sorry. What the fuck?
I was
Yeah,
really
I
upset
think-
because I felt Sam did me so. I played a lot of orcs, okay, a lot of them, and I never felt burned, but more than what Sam did to me. But now I'm over it. So
God, you're all
I
cocks.
should have threw a vote on Rizzo. I should have threw it.
I will say, okay, my last thing about Caleb is what I don't respect about his game is that he was a complete sheep to me in Burks and Liar's dice. He literally just sat on the outside while we ran everything. And that's not really a game that I respect.
I
But,
agree. I agree.
I
have
mean-
to
That's
agree
it.
with
I'm
that.
done. I hate you all.
I'm giving him fucking salt.
did I make the episode title for the finale? Yes.
I
So-
mean, you guys realize what like the whole process was for getting the COVID vaccine out, right? Operation Warp Sam. Like it was literally right there the whole time. I don't know how you guys missed that.
realize.
I think
And
Jabbar
we're
wanted to
done
add
yet?
something on.
Yeah, I feel like Burks, do you got something?
Jabbar wanted to say something on
Jabbar.
Tyler, I think. If he's here now.
He's dead.
I do think Tyler
He's-
played the best game though.
He's
So-
in an elimination right now.
Well, I think whether or not I think Tyler played the best game depends, because if he gets third, then I will not have that opinion.
Oh,
obviously.
if Tyler gets
Oh,
third,
gotta
Bryce
go
and I
look
are
here.
gonna be laughing at his face.
we're gonna be like, yeah, Lee and me are gonna be like cackling at him as he enters the jury
It's
house.
so
He's gonna look
crazy.
like a fucking clown.
I think
If he gets third, he fumbles the ball at the end zone. That's what that's gonna be.
right. I think if Tyler gets third, it's like holy shit, like you just played yourself. But if he
Literally.
gets dragged or like if he gets pulled to go to final two, it's like holy shit, like you literally had these people just do everything for you. I don't know. It's
It entirely depends if Tyler gets to the end. If Tyler doesn't get to the end, it's the worst game he's ever played.
Honestly, I'm just not voting for Sam. Period.
See, I don't
Dude,
agree that one move completely. Like, I agree. The worst game, and I don't want to sound like a broken record when it comes to Tyler, but I feel like Tyler, of all people, like never needed a competition win to control the game ever at any point, and I think that applies to Sam as well in some parts. But with Tyler, like I feel like no matter who he sat in, not in the end, but like no matter who was in the final six, he had a good shot at winning, because just like the way he's really good with his words and campaigning and everything. Like he was strategically dominant in the sense that I feel like no matter what, he would have found his way to the final three.
so my thing with Tyler, I think I don't know, I could be wrong because I didn't talk to Tyler too much in the pre-jury phase, but I think if we look at it in stages, I think Caleb in the pre-jury phase, the first couple rounds, had more power than the other two, given that Nick won almost everything, and then Caleb had an HOH. And then from the pre-jury phase on, I think Sam had a lot of the power, not power, but I guess knowing everything. For me, I felt like Tyler's game really picked up the week Cindy left and backwards week. I think that's where you can tell that Tyler played a great game. So I don't really know how much control Tyler had pre-jury phase, but obviously the game that really matters is the jury phase. And that's why I think Tyler right now has the edge, just because I feel like he was always in the light in the jury phase. Like everyone was like, Tyler this, Tyler that, season 2 this, season 2 that. And he was nommed twice.
Question for Lee. Was the reason you evicted Cindy over me because of Tyler, myself, or both?
Honestly,
Full T.
Full T was honestly a mixture of Tyler and Sam.
Mhm.
Because Tyler came to me before the HOH and said Cindy was talking mad shit about me the whole fucking week. And
People do that too, Lee.
I don't know if she really did or not. I don't know, but she was just going crazy, and I'm like, I want to do us all a favor and like not deal with that craziness
Yeah.
anymore. So I just evicted her. That did kind of play
That was a guy.
a factor.
Rizzo, do
think
you
the
still
reason-
think everyone's evicting me?
I don't know at that moment in time. I mean, I was at
I mean, Bryce, at that moment before I called with Tyler, I was evicted.
No,
You
I
at
assumed
that
you were before that, but I don't think anyone else was. But
I
Rizzo.
feel like when I left, it was the people, I guess, trying in the competition. Like I knew Sam wasn't going to try to win. I don't think Burks was going to try to win. I thought Lee was doing it. I thought X was doing it. I thought I was doing it. I knew Caleb was doing it.
I think X was gonna save me. At
Who?
that point. X would have saved me there. And evicted Keaton.
If I don't
No, I'm serious.
I mean, X
If X did that, that would have been completely stupid for him. So I
Yeah,
doubt that.
Like X is here right now.
yeah, X can confirm if he would have cut you or Keaton. I mean, I talked to X a lot. X was like, "Yeah, I'm keeping Cindy and Keaton." So I don't know.
Hello, my young legends.
Hello, X.
Robbed God.
X-ray.
What do I need to answer?
Who would you have evicted backwards week had you won the HOH?
I would have probably most likely 1000%. Oh, who were the noms again?
Me, Cindy, and Keaton. Remember when we had that long ass talk and we like
Yeah,
maybe
honestly, I won't lie. If I had one HOH at that point, I was gonna evict Keaton because of the talk I had with Cindy at that
So you're
point.
gonna throw your game even harder. No wonder.
I mean, at that point, I felt like I had better chances with Cindy and Bryce in my corner at
Yeah,
that point
I
over
mean,
Keaton,
honestly, it
2
makes sense.
against 1 at that point.
You
and I
know
do
I was
think
forced to
that-
work with you. Whatever,
I
man.
do think Cindy and Bryce were more motivated to win
Keaton-
HOHs
Keaton
versus
rolled
Keaton, who
it
probably wasn't as motivated.
I,
Whether that
I was
ended my-
motivated to
don't
win
think that-
comps.
Yeah, whether that ended my game or not, I don't really wouldn't have mattered since I was evicted like weeks after.
You ended
but-
your game 2 weeks before the game started. What do you want, X?
Yeah, I wasn't
Weren't you a
gonna
part
evict.
of him ending his game too?
Yeah,
Well,
I
don't
wasn't
think it
gonna
was
evict.
just X.
I mean, me picking Rizzo for POV ended my game too, but you know.
All right, so I do have a question about the final three.
Selena, you're not on the jury. Sit down.
Get out of here. We don't like you.
I'm Will. I'm Dr. Will.
I
Thank you.
can do
Bitch.
X, I will.
Can we get an actually good player as our will, please?
I think this is the only time I will ever say this. Devon, shut the fuck up.
No, I
Uh,
want to hear.
Okay. Do you guys? So I heard somebody earlier say that they don't think the pre-jury portion of the game counts when casting a jury vote. Do you guys look at, or do you guys share
Oh,
that
this
same?
pre-jury should count. This was
Who the fuck
amazing.
said that? Who am I murdering?
I don't know. I heard somebody
Rizzo.
earlier say
Well,
that.
I didn't say-
Rizzo, yeah,
God,
definitely.
of course it's Rizzo. Of course.
I didn't say it doesn't count.
I
just
mean,
the jury
I'm-
based.
Snake.
I mean, if it was literally anyone else, even I would try and say like, oh yeah, no, the pre-jury definitely didn't count for no reason, none at all. But yeah, no, the pre-jury counts in any game.
What
How
I-
much it's weighted versus the jury is
That's kind of
different.
right.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it definitely counts in the pre-jury because it's how you get to point A to point B, not from the midpoint to point
Right.
B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would count the pre-jury for sure,
No, it
It
especially
doesn't
because
count.
2 of these people were huge threats in the pre-jury, and it's incredible that they like were able to even make it to the fucking jury, let alone
I
to the
mean,
final 3.
How basically the only reason that I was also being an idiot, but it was also like said, I believe to me at some point that I was really the reason for me and Bria going out. It's not even because like, oh yeah, no, she's a winner and all. It's like, no, you're just an idiot. So
Yeah.
having
that's
it be
accurate.
2
That's it.
winners in the end game, like at the very end, and we had multiple people like right near the end and winners. How the fuck did that happen? How does this happen in every All-Star game
Because-
where winners get to the end?
When you look about it, like the latter portion of the game was stacked. Like the winners weren't the only threats, and they weren't just gonna
Oh,
win
yeah.
because they were winners. Me and Tyler, I guess, were like jury threats. Fucking Burks. There was 3 winners in the final 7. Bryce was crafty, and Lee had won 2 HOHs. So like it was a crapshoot at that point after the triple. So I mean, and not to mention, like, and I guess this is, where Caleb and Sam benefited for being winners and making it this far. Like, the quote unquote 6 dominated a lot of the jury portion of the game. A lot of those HOHs. And Caleb was a part of season 2, and Sam was by proxy with us. So we were sending home our opposition up until that point, up until the point of the triple. And they were able to not necessarily slide through the cracks because Sam had to kind of show his cards at the triple, but they were able to like skip through.
Tyler and Caleb survived by the skin of their teeth in that purple. Both of them.
Mhm.
Wait, Jabbar, can you repeat that? Wait,
Actually,
wait a minute.
now that we're saying that, does that mean anything that they barely scraped by? Well, Caleb was just like, meh, whatever.
Wait a minute. Who was in the 6 again?
Season 2 plus Rizzo and
Yeah.
So I do have another question. Who would each finalist have to cut in order for you to consider voting for them more?
No.
Caleb, nobody, because he's not getting mine. And Sam, probably Caleb, and then just being like, hey, I was a snake.
Why would Sam need to cut Caleb?
Look, man,
Wouldn't
I
it make more
don't-
sense for Sam to cut Tyler?
Yes.
Yeah, if Caleb's not getting
whatever.
your vote anyway, right?
Okay, I think neither of them should cut Caleb. I think
Caleb would, like, whoever Caleb takes is like a double-edged sword. So, like,
In my opinion, I think Sam's best bet to win is against Caleb, even though I wouldn't vote for Sam. I think that's Sam's best bet to win. I think Tyler beats either of the two, to be honest.
I agree.
That's kind of how I view it. Caleb, I guess his best bet is also Sam, because Sam is Nicole Franzel, and who wants to vote for Nicole Franzel?
What are we talking about, Sam?
I
Is that's the Nicole Franzel? I will vote for fucking Sam. I ain't gonna lie.
Nicole Franzel played a good game. But
Wait, so
words that I
makes you
did
guys-
not
the
want
Nicole,
to hear.
the Nicole comparison is so fucking funny to me.
What makes you
I
guys
think it's really accurate.
It
Nicole
is.
on
It
22.
really
Where was the game on 22 with Nicole? Where was it? She was sucking Cody's dick.
That's true.
Okay, so reminder, we're talking about 1984 All-Stars, not Big Brother.
Oh,
All-Stars.
whoops.
You were
Michael,
I
we're
know.
playing Big Brother.
And Sam was sucking Tyler's dick. So, like,
Now that we
I
think
don't
about
see
it,
it.
It could also be like a Paul too. I don't know. It's like whichever. Like
I honestly, I kind of attest Caleb's game to Casey from Big Brother 20. Now
I feel like Tyler has had more control over Sam has.
I would say Sam's probably like Joey Van Pelt.
Oh,
I
that's mean. That's mean.
I think Tyler like came in saying that he didn't have that many connect. Like Tyler would always tell me like, "Oh, I haven't been connected with 1984 since."
That's a
Power."
delay.
That's
Yeah.
what Sam says too.
Yeah, and I feel like walking in, Tyler was like top player in 10 gauge, and he's known a lot of people in this cast for over 2 years. Where like that's like ridiculous, you know? It's I don't know. Like shit, I thought I walked in the game knowing Jabbar and Nick Watson and fucking Caleb and Outset, but Sam knew these people since he was 15 years old.
All three of them like knew a lot of people. Like I'd known all three of them for a long time.
Mhm.
I think they've all known a lot of people here for a long time.
Yeah.
If Caleb makes final 2, I think we should at least hear him out first before we like just be like dead set we're not voting for him to win. Like,
Of course.
Yeah, I would definitely hear Caleb out because I do think that Caleb has a case to plead. It just depends on what he's gonna try and sell when he gets there.
I've had that.
For me personally.
I agree.
I mean, let's hear everyone out, but I
I'm not
mean, we're
gonna
all
lie.
gonna have our own notions.
I kind of want Sam to get there because I have a lot to say to Sam. If Sam
Oh
gets
my god, you're gonna. I'm ready for the full circle Rizzo. Like Sam, you're either you're a sociopath type kick.
I'm not gonna say that.
I
Sam
mean-
really played me. Like he did the same thing to me that he did on season 1. He played me. He
That's-
literally said we had a final 2. Like I feel like Devon right now, and he's Franzel. That's how I feel.
I'm not gonna lie, Lee.
I
Every time you pick Sam for veto, I was like, "What are you doing, Lee?" But then it's like,
girl,
know,
you pick Sam.
No,
so
listen. My thing was because he was so down to get rid of Burks and Tyler, and after that triple eviction happened, he like switched sides. Like it's so annoying.
So wait, Lee, let me ask you now. I mean, I didn't understand, and I never really got to hear your reasoning. But so you know when you put up Tyler and Burks, and you said if it tied, like Tyler, I see your game, but if it's tied, I'm keeping Burks. Was it because you think Tyler would have taken you farther than Burks, or
Yes.
Fair enough.
Burks and I, like at that point, Burks and I were not going to work together. We just had no game relationship, and we would not put trust in each other at that point.
Okay.
Like I felt like I could work something with Tyler because Tyler and I were really close.
I thought that as well. Okay.
So I'm now just realizing that if I make it to the end of this game, if I make it to the end, if Caleb and Sam both make it to the end of this game, either way, I'm casting a jury vote for them for a second time.
Yeah.
Like
That's
literally the two people that I voted to win are now like have to decide between them. So that's just a weird thing that's like, I have to do this shit again.
So Jack,
And this
sorry to cut you off. I was going to ask you. So the reason why you're bitter towards Caleb is because of season 4.
Oh, absolutely. If you cheat in my mind, no matter what you did, die.
And
like I don't care.
And this
It was against me, but like also that makes me more bitter. But he cheated very publicly, and then after the season, him along with the rest of the Power of Three gloated about it, and that's why I was pissed off because it was like right after the season they were like, "Oh yeah, we cheated here, and it's just like, really? Like
what
after
cheating
was the crossword
crossword puzzle. That's like the main thing that sticks out in my mind. All of them cheated at some point in the game to gain power. It was some more successful than others. Cue the 80-minute montage, but the thing is like they were so high and mighty after it, and like they got celebrated for it, and that pissed me off because I was like, are we just going to ignore that they cheated very publicly and then boasted about it right when they were out of the line of fire, when they couldn't be punished for it anymore? And then the next season they were celebrated and had a whole game after their alliance. And that's why I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to give the Power of Three, even if they didn't work together this season, another win. Like that's where my head's at, and it's incredibly bitter.
Okay, because I was going to say that's a part of like the mechanism of the game itself. Like if you can cheat the system, then like me and Burks, the first week of the game, we laughed about how many comps we cheated in like season 2. Like, and production was on call. Like at that point, it was whatever. With that being said, like you do have the option, at least in this season, you have the option to change it. Like when the Final 5 veto was supposed to be semi-live, and I went to Pride and I begged them, like I told them, if you guys make this non-live, semi-live, they're gonna fucking give each other the answers to it. And Pride was like, okay, let's just make this shit live. Like, and like I get that obviously you're hurt about it, but this is a whole new season. So like to cast based off of season 4, well, like there are ways to circumvent certain things. I feel like if you're not gonna go for
that was like last, and let's just add on
absolutely bitterness. I'm not gonna lie about that. It's bitterness, scorn, and like it's also hatred of my own game. And it's like, oh wow, I couldn't have played that well of a game, but like,
and that's your right.
And that was like last year.
That's how I feel, and it might change. I might end up voting for Caleb anyway. Entirely depends on how I'm feeling that night, how good their pitches are. Like, am I going to vote for Caleb? Not likely, but there is a possibility that it happens. And that's how it goes.
Hiccup and burp at the same time.
Think about it. 4 months ago, Bryce hated my guts, and now we're going to be a final 2 the next game we play.
Right, exactly.
So I am sorry if I missed this earlier. My internet connection was really bad, and I kept getting kicked off the call. But who do you guys think? Say Sam wins final head of household, or say Caleb wins final head of household. What do you think they're going to do?
Oh God.
I think Sam's gonna cut Tyler.
Yep.
And
truthfully,
Caleb, I think Caleb will cut Sam.
I agree.
Oh my God.
I think Caleb's set either way.
I think so too, honestly.
Caleb
That's
is
not a bad
set,
spot to be in.
and
I don't,
I have a
what's-
feeling like whoever survived that final 5 eviction was set final 2.
yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
don't know if Sam would cut Tyler. It's so weird because I want to believe that both of them would cut Tyler, but
My thing is that I thought Sam was a loyal player because Sam always told me that his final 2 was, I forgot his name, Josh, in season 1, and he would do all this, but at the end of the day, make sure that him and Josh was in the final 2 seats. And if him and Tyler are like bestie buddies, like, and he's literally played the same exact game, why would he not take Tyler at the end?
Well, the difference is Josh didn't do much and was an easy beat. That's not
Exactly.
Yeah.
Josh came in literally in the middle of the game. He's like throughout his ride, he didn't really have that much control. Like he was incredibly easy to beat. Here it's like both of them are good competitors and both have cases. One is stronger than the other, how it seems, but they both have cases.
Do we think that each player left is aware about how the jury's feeling about them? Do we think that like
my vibe in there was okay. You were there longer than me because when I was there, it seemed like they kind of knew, but it was a lot more mystery. Like I thought Sam was going to beat everybody personally, and I know it's going to be tricky. I don't know if they know exactly how. Jabbar, you were there like the longest. I don't know what's the tea.
Well, the entire Final Four, me and Sam never really said anything to each other besides hey, so I don't really know how he feels. I think Caleb thinks that he has a chance against Tyler based off of Tyler's, I guess, behavior and attitude towards certain things. Tyler feels like he can't beat Sam, but obviously his opinion doesn't mean anything. It's not like he's gonna win the final HOH.
What's Tyler's attitude? Like I don't get it. Like what did Tyler do?
I mean, he's been a dick sometimes.
Yeah, he's
that statement he made it to me at Final 5 was kind of funny, but it was kind of like a dickish thing to say.
Yeah.
Telling people the C word at the house meetings. It's just, yeah, Tyler has done and said some shit. But I don't think that's what I was telling Caleb. I don't think that what Tyler has done and said has been bad enough for you to consider taking him to the end.
Yeah.
If it's Tyler and Caleb at the final 2, my question to them is that I'm going to play Kings and Queens and they have to do their jury music video right in front of all of us.
Oh my god, we never got another fucking jury music video. I hate you all.
Yeah, literally, I think I was one of the only ones to submit on time.
Me
I
too.
feel like
Again?
Keaton didn't do it.
Who
either.
didn't do it?
He and Caleb Tyler.
I think I'm waiting on 3 or 4 people. If you guys get it to me, I can still edit it. but-
Literally for us power of 3 people.
Power of 5.
We just want a music video.
Best alliance.
Wait a minute. So
Power
again,
of 5.
I mean, would it be sad for it never to go out? Yes. Do I also never want it to go out because I don't want to see myself lip syncing to anything? Yes. Just don't make me lip sync anything ever.
Get your music video
Wait.
materials in. Thank you, XOXO.
wait a minute. Question. Going back to that 6-person alliance, what was that name to it? What was the name to it?
Was that name?
It was just the 6. We didn't come up with a name.
Which is like why I thought like, oh, this is gonna work, and then I just get fucking.
And then Rizzo, like 5 minutes before the eviction, Rizzo made a chat. I was like, bitch.
Okay, so like I said, in that moment, Sam was like, he's keeping me, and he's like, Lee's the only one that wouldn't keep me. And then I talked to Benner, and Benner was like, Lee would keep you if Sam would keep you. I'm like, holy fuck, are you guys like idiots?
Rizzo, I kept trying to tell you, like, you were going home, like Sam was gonna evict you, sweetie. I was hinting at it.
Jabbar told me too, but like I said, at that moment, I was just like,
literally trying to warn you. I was
literally like,
Sam is not saving you.
Sam every day since day 5. There's no way he is fucking me over. And then obviously, but
I would have loved to work with Rizzo more.
yeah,
I kind of wish I did too.
I was really honest this time around.
Bryce tried to make it look like you were like the devil.
I was not honest
Listen,
this time
especially
around.
I said y'all can't trust that man, and I don't think Rizzo played as honest as he likes to say he did.
Agree.
I only lied.
But I don't mind that. But I do think you were a shady hoe like the rest of us.
Yeah.
A lot of you
Okay.
guys lied this time. I didn't even lie that.
Does anybody have anything else to say about the final three before I finish up the recording?
Sam's not getting my vote.
Sam, damn it, god damn it, you won't be getting mine.
I actually do want to say that I'm not actually so bitter at Sam as I was when I exited. I think
Same.
Oh, I'm
overall,
bitter.
after having time to like acknowledge his game and acknowledge like why he did what he did, I can kind of respect him as a whole versus in the moment when I was angry and like, oh fuck Sam. But having a look at his game and at why he was doing things, and it clearly worked out for him because he's in the final 30. I can kind of respect his game a bit more.
See, and kind of to piggyback off that, like, as long as you're keeping it in a sense of a game, there's no rule in anybody's rule book that says that, like, you have to be the most honest. You have to tell people when you're evicting them. You know, we have this whole public vote thing. You can do whatever the hell you want. And I think that out of all of them, Sam played that up to the best of his ability, especially coming in as a winner threat. I think that Sam did that the best. Caleb has the best underdog story. So if you're going to vote for somebody who fucking had to fight for their life and who was nominated time after time after time and won veto or was saved, you're probably going to vote for Caleb. Tyler was just a fucking badass. He was clocked very early on in the game as somebody who, you know, was stirring shit up just for the hell of it. Tyler even admitted to people that he's messy and he likes to cause drama sometimes. And the fact that, like, even Cindy calling me and him out in like season 2 and stuff, the fact that he was able to make it this far despite being like one of the perceived ringleaders of season 2, I think it's impressive too. So I think that it just depends on which storyline you want to vote for in this final 3.
I agree.
Well put.
I think everyone kind of still has an open book, which is really interesting. Like, there's still a chance for everyone to win, and there's not just like, okay, there's 2 contenders, we're good. Like, we'll see how this goes.
I played Stars with Tyler, kind of similar to how he played this game.
I know. That's so good.
I'm not
Not Stars.
He uses, honestly, the Star strategy works. I'll give him that.
I think in terms of 1984 as a whole, this is the best final 3 ever.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so with that is all we have for the jury roundtable. I will let you guys stick around on the call or whatever if you want to talk. That's fine. Tomorrow night we will be casting votes for a winner. I do ask that you guys listen to the jurors, listen to their speeches, take everything in before you cast their vote. You are voting for who you want to represent in 1984 All-Stars. So with that is all I have